Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of Restoration Therapy. Kevin is here, and in this video we're going to do some restoration work, some cleanup on this beautiful computer from about 2002 that I found in a trash pile. Let's see, down here we have a date stamp, and then this one looks clear. Okay, we got March 26, 2002. Excellent. This is just a fine piece of engineering, something that I just cannot wait to start playing some old school games and Microsoft Wording and all that kind of silly stuff on. As you can see though, it is pretty dirty, so we're gonna have to do some cleanup work. So tearing it apart, cleaning everything up, and it's gonna need a good scrubbing. So here we have the CD-ROM drive, and yeah, that confirms 2002. And we're going to improve this computer by adding this solid state SD converter to IDE. There's going to be the I'll say SD, I meant CF. And there's a little Skynet sticker for the front. We're going to use this Radeon 7500 ATI video card, and I did not come with a power supply, so I'm going to use this one that I have in my trash pile. And we're going to install Windows 98 2nd edition, and why not, we'll just add some Microsoft Plus action on top of that. So here in part one, we are going to begin by disassembling this computer. So first we're going to obviously have to take out some of these cables here. Right here we got the IDE cable, we had the floppy disk cable, and we got all those cables out, and you can see they're pretty dirty. Yeah, we have the audio pass-through for the CD audio, Redbook audio, we'll take that out. Now once we got it a little bit more clear, we can see it's still pretty dirty. Now let's get this motherboard out of here by just removing all of these screws. So we got that screw, we got this screw, and then a couple more just around here. Get all these out of here. Alright, let's pull the motherboard out. And here you can see this thing has got some dirt caked on it. Not the worst that I've seen, but definitely not good. So let's move on to we got a little piece of plastic cable stuff over there. Interesting. Alright, we'll go ahead and take off the front panel stuff here for the LEDs and take all this aside. Now I need to get this fan off so I can take the processor out. So we'll pop this off, pretty simple, and we'll pull off this beautiful AMD processor. This is an AMD Duron. This would have been probably something that I would have had back at this time because I was poor. And look at this, holy crap, this thing is not just a simple scrub. We're gonna have to put this puppy in the sink, so we're gonna do that here in a sec. Now this has some paint chips on it and some dents, this case does. So I'll probably have to do some additional work on this later, maybe repaint it, but we'll just clean it up as best as we can. The front bezel is actually in pretty good shape, actually. There's a couple of scuffs here and there. So we'll go ahead and take off this original case badge with some Goo Gone. And we scrape this off. I actually did look up, I have to double check, but when I checked up the company that made this before, it's actually not that far from where I live, which explains why it was in a trash pile close by to me. So now we'll clean that up and put the motherboard here in the sink with some cold water to get some of that nasty cake stuff off. I didn't record it, but I also scrubbed it with a toothbrush and some soap. And here it is after we're done. You can see all that dirt's gone, but it's soaking wet. So we're going to have to be very careful with this. We're going to stick this here in front of the fan for 24 hours minimum, and we'll come back later and do some more work. Alright, so it's been about, I don't know, a day or two, and it looks fantastic. I mean, this almost looks like it just came off the assembly line. This is in great shape. Alright, so let me put this processor back in here. Oh yeah, that looks good. Pull this lever down. Oh, so satisfying. Put a little bit of this thermal grease on it and pop that fan back on. Stick a stick of RAM in here, and let's plug in the power supply, make sure we didn't break anything, and pop. Well, at least it powers on, so that's good. Now I did clean this case out off camera. Now we'll put this front cover back on the case, and now we'll start to hook this thing back up. So we'll get the front panel controls and LEDs plugged into the motherboard and put the motherboard in the case. Screw it down. Yeah, doing good. Put this power supply back in here. Alright, plug the power supply in. Now we got to make sure that everything is fine. Well, we'll do that in a second. Let's get this CD-ROM drive installed. So we'll just slide it in, screw it in place on this side, and I'll screw it on this side and plug it in. So we'll plug in the data cable first. Well, we'll plug in the audio pass-through first, then the data cable. All right, let's get this floppy disk drive in here. Screw it in on this side. And we'll screw it in on that side. Get it powered up. Pop. All right. And we got to plug in the power for the CD-ROM drive. And then, of course, the ribbon cable for the floppy disk drive. Now, let's power this on and make sure that it works. So I'll use the onboard video and everything and power it on. And, all right, we have a post. So that's good. So, awesome. We have an error, but that's okay. That's okay. That's just a CMOS error. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is install the video card here, which I originally got a couple years ago, brand spanking new. It's been open just because I inspected it. But let me take it out of here. I've never actually used this before. So this is in brand new condition. A card from would have been somewhat around this era. I don't know off the top of my head what year this came out, but let me plug this in here and let's see if it works. And it does. So we have some video coming out of our computer now from the card that we want. Now let me put the CF to IDE piece here. So that will plug in the the power first. And we'll use this 32 gigabyte CF card, slide this in the back, and now we'll set up the data cable here. We'll plug it in the board, and then we'll plug it into the CF reader, power it on, and during post it should tell us here what it discovers. So it does see it. You can see that there's a 32 gigabyte card, or sees it as a hard drive, but it sees it, which is fantastic. All right, so now we'll just do a little bit of cable cleanup. Let me just stuff this down here and stuff some of this stuff up here just to get it out of the way and put this case back together. Like I said, I'm going to probably do some more work on this case later, but not right now. So we'll put the case on, and since this thing is so technologically advanced, I figured Skynet was the only appropriate sticker for this. And since this motherboard doesn't have onboard LAN, I'm going to plug in this LAN card that I've had sitting around for a million years. I probably got it at a thrift store 1,000 years ago. And here we go. This is our setup from the back. Looks absolutely gorgeous. All right, come back in the next video and we'll install the software. Bye!